This is Loudon Stern's Introduction to Sound Production course. This is my week 2 assignment. My name is Jeff Tollefson. I'm currently living in Quito, Ecuador. I'll be doing a lesson on the basics of using a software instrument to record and edit MIDI. By the end of this lesson, I hope that you'll be able to use a software instrument in a useful setting that's most appropriate for your needs. I'll show you how to prepare a software instrument track for recording, and I'll do some basics on how to edit, quantize, and change the velocity of a MIDI region. So in my particular situation, one of the classes that I teach is a contemporary music ensemble, and we often use practice tracks for our students. Sometimes we use live instruments, and sometimes it's just easier and more flexible to use a DAW to create the tracks, which is what I'm going to be doing here. I'm using Logic Pro 10 as my DAW, and I'm creating a practice track for Tito Puente's Oye Como Va. And what you can see here, I've already added some percussion loops and a MIDI bass part, but right now what I'd like to add is a MIDI keyboard part. So I'm going to go to New Track. I'm going to add a software instrument. We're going to try the vintage B3 organ, and let's try the Oakland organ. Now, after I've created that track, the first thing I'm going to do is move it up to the top so I have all similar instruments kind of in the same grouping. Then I'm going to look here and test my control surface, see if I get a good signal. And as you can see, I'm getting a nice strong signal, so I'm ready to go there. The next thing I'll take a look at is the metronome marking, make sure I'm right where I want to be, and 120 is in fact where I want to be. I'll double check and make sure I'm getting a click. Looks like I have 1 bar, so I'm ready for that. And then I'll just want to make sure that I toggle the record button on, make sure that I have the playhead at the beginning, and I'm ready to record. Okay, so let's check that out. We're going to go back and I'm going to press the solo function here. Then I'm going to highlight it here and bring up the piano roll. And the piano roll, or you can choose the musical score, but the piano roll is a little bit more useful since you get to see a graphic display of each of the notes in a little bit more detail. So let's hear it. Okay, so one of the first things that we can do with MIDI is that we can identify some of the individual MIDI messages which represent individual notes and find the pitch errors that I had. And instead of having that A flat sound, I can move it down to the F sharp where it should be. And this one here as well. And the last one too. And now without having to record another take, I fix these 3 notes right here, and now everything is correct. Now the second thing that you can use MIDI for, which is very useful, is the quantize function. So I'm just going to highlight everything I played here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift everything so that it's a little bit more accurate rhythmically by moving it to the 8th note, since there was nothing played faster than that. But I'm going to keep the strength at around 30 so it's not overly mechanical. And actually, if I go here back to the score, you can see here notationally that everything is now lined up and correct. So the last thing that we can use MIDI for, that's a great function, is the velocity function, which is basically, I'm going to highlight, this is my pinky here, or the lowest note, and I'm going to make them louder. So I'm just going to highlight the whole rest of it. You can see it as it's turning red, because really there's only one note that moves in these 2 chords here. And I'd like to emphasize that one note, so I'm just going to put the velocity all the way at max at 127. And then I should be able to emphasize that. And then I basically fix the errors that I need, and I'm ready for complete recording. Here we go.